Why do some moments stay in your head for years? Why does your mind keep going back to the same conversation? Sometimes you spend hours thinking about a moment that lasted only a few seconds. A sentence you replay, a look you remember, something you wish you had said differently. Days pass, weeks pass, people move on, but your mind is still there. You walk away from a conversation. It was nothing special, just a few sentences, just a few words, but something about that moment stays with you. Later that day, your mind goes back to it, the way they said it, the way you responded, and suddenly a thought appears. I should have said something else. You imagine the conversation again. This time you say the right words. This time the response is perfect. For a moment it almost feels like you fixed it, but the moment is already gone, and your mind still returns to it, again and again. Sometimes it happens at night. You lie down and the room is quiet. The day is over, but your mind suddenly brings back a moment from earlier. Something small, something that probably meant nothing to anyone else, but now it is playing again in your head. The same sentence appears again. The same look returns again. And the strange thing is that the more you try to stop thinking about it, the clearer it becomes. Did you ever catch yourself doing this? Replaying the same moment again and again, as if thinking about it long enough could somehow change what already happened? Sometimes it's not even something from today. Your mind reaches further back. A conversation from months ago appears again. Something you said comes back. Something you didn't say comes back. And suddenly you are back in that moment. You see it clearly. You hear the voices again. You feel the same tension again. But everyone else moved on. That moment ended long ago. Yet your mind is still there. You might be walking somewhere. People pass by you. Cars move through the street. Life continues around you. But inside your head, a completely different scene is playing. A moment that already ended. A conversation that already finished. And you are still there trying to get it right. Did you ever notice how easily your mind returns to those moments? It almost works like a loop. One thought appears, then another thought follows, then another thought joins it, until suddenly you are having a conversation with someone who isn't even there. And the strange thing is that while all of this is happening in your head, life around you keeps moving. People continue their day, the world moves forward, time moves forward, but your mind is still somewhere behind, and sometimes you notice something strange. You are physically here in the present moment, but part of your mind is still living inside something that already ended. And then another question appears. Did you ever realize how much time we spend inside moments that are already over? Sometimes the moment wasn't even important. It was just a sentence someone said, or the way someone looked at you for a second. But your mind keeps returning to it. You think about what they meant. You think about what you should have said. And suddenly the moment becomes bigger than it ever was. You try to move on. You try to focus on something else. But the thought quietly returns again. Not because the moment is still happening, but because your mind refuses to let it go. Did you ever notice how easily your mind brings back those scenes? Almost like it is searching for something that was never there. Sometimes it happens while you are doing something completely normal. You are walking somewhere. You are sitting with people. You are listening to someone talking, but suddenly your attention slips away, and you are back in that same moment again. You hear the same sentence. You see the same reaction. You imagine a different outcome, and for a few seconds it feels real again. Then you return to the present, but the thought does not disappear. It waits somewhere in the background. Later it appears again. Maybe the next day, maybe a week later, sometimes even years later. A small moment that everyone else forgot, but your mind still remembers it. Did you ever catch yourself continuing a conversation in your head long after it ended? You imagine what you would say now. You imagine how the other person would respond, and the conversation continues inside your mind. But in reality, that moment is already finished. And while your mind keeps returning to those old scenes, something else is happening quietly. Days move forward. New moments appear. Life continues around you. People change. Situations change. Time keeps moving. But your mind is still visiting the same place. You might be sitting with friends. You might be spending time with people you care about. Someone is talking. Someone is laughing. The moment is happening right now. But part of your attention is somewhere else. Your body is in the present, but your mind is still inside a moment that already ended. Did you ever realize how often this happens? How easily a single thought can pull you away from the moment you are actually living. And while your mind is busy replaying the past, the present keeps moving forward without waiting. And this is where something strange begins to happen. Overthinking feels like you are dealing with your life. It feels like you are trying to understand something important. It feels like you are trying to fix something that went wrong. But most of the time, nothing is actually changing. The moment is already over. The conversation is already finished. The people involved have already moved on. But your mind keeps returning there. You replay the same moment again. You replay the same sentence again. You replay the same reaction again. And each time it feels like you are getting closer to an answer. But there is no answer waiting there, because the moment already belongs to the past. Did you ever notice how much energy we spend trying to fix moments that no longer exist? You analyze what happened. You imagine different outcomes. You think about better words you could have used. You imagine how things could have turned out differently. And for a moment it feels like you are doing something useful. But nothing in the real world changes. And while all of this thinking is happening inside your mind, something much more important keeps moving. Time. Hours pass. Days pass. Weeks pass. People move forward with their lives. Conversations end. Situations change. Moments disappear. But your mind is still visiting the same place. And slowly something else begins to happen. Life keeps moving forward. New days appear. New moments appear. New opportunities appear. But part of your attention is still trapped in something that already ended. You are physically here, but mentally you are somewhere behind. And this is the quiet cost of overthinking. It does not destroy your life in one dramatic moment. It happens slowly. A few minutes lost inside a thought, then another few minutes, then another. A moment here, a moment there, until one day you realize something uncomfortable. You spent years thinking about moments that lasted only seconds, and the strange part is that life never stopped while you were thinking. Days continued, weeks continued, years continued, and life kept moving forward whether your mind was ready or not. And maybe the strangest part about overthinking is how normal it feels. It feels like you are working through something important. It feels like you are trying to understand your life better. It feels like you are trying to fix something that went wrong. But most of the time, nothing is actually being fixed. The moment is already over. The conversation is already finished. The people involved have already moved forward. Yet your mind keeps returning there, again and again. It is almost as if the mind believes that if it looks at the moment long enough, something new will appear, a hidden meaning, a better explanation, a different ending. But the past does not open itself like that. It does not change. It does not rewrite itself. It simply stays where it happened. And time continues moving in only one direction, forward, while your mind keeps walking backwards. Did you ever notice how quiet this process is? No one around you can see it. No one hears the conversations happening in your head. From the outside, everything looks normal. You are still going through your day. You are still meeting people. You are still answering questions. But part of your attention is somewhere else. Part of your mind is still visiting a moment that already disappeared. And this is where something important begins to slip away. Not in a dramatic way, not all at once, but slowly. A few minutes lost inside a thought, then another few minutes, then another. Moments of your life that quietly pass while your attention is somewhere else. And the strange thing is that life never stops while this is happening. Morning arrives, conversations happen, people laugh, people leave, days turn into weeks, weeks turn into years, and life keeps moving forward without asking whether your mind is ready to move with it. Sometimes the moments you are missing look completely ordinary. A short conversation with someone, a walk somewhere, sitting quietly with people you care about. Nothing dramatic, nothing that looks important at the time, but these are the moments life is actually made of. And they pass quietly when your mind is busy somewhere else. One day you suddenly realize something strange. The moment you were thinking about for so long no longer matters. The sentence you kept replaying no longer carries the same weight. The situation that once felt so important is now just another distant memory. But the time you spend inside those thoughts never returns. And that is the quiet cost of overthinking. It steals attention from the only place where life actually exists. Right here, in the moment that is happening now. Because life was never hiding inside the past you keep replaying. It was always unfolding in front of you. In small conversations, in ordinary days, in simple moments that looked unimportant while they were happening. Moments that quietly passed while your mind was somewhere else. And by the time you notice it, those moments have already become the past too.